experience wasn't as intense as Sophie's, but I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. Like, you're on a table and you lay down, and then like, it's kind of like if you meditate, where you just kind of like close your eyes, and like, she does what she does, and then when she's done, she'll like touch your shoulder, so you know, like, to come to a consciousness. But it's just like, you literally can feel the process as it goes. It's just hard to explain. Like, you have to go through it. And like, for me, my most intense moment was like when Dad's presence came through, and like, she told me that he came through after, but like, I just felt like this feeling in my chest, and like, I couldn't control myself, like, and I just started like crying during it. And then like, after, she told me that like, he was present the entire time, and like, that he was there, and that he just said that he is in our house. And like, how, I don't know, she like started telling me things like, oh, you have a picture with like a desk, a wooden desk, and like a white candle. And in my room, I do actually have one of those from Foods Co. I have those candles, the angel one, and then I have his picture. And she's like, he's always in that area of your room, and I have it on the side of my bed. And she just like said, oh, and then in your living room, like, you have pictures too on like, she's like, I don't know if it's a counter or, but it's like a long area, and like, we have that, like, Mom has that corner on the island or whatever with all the pictures. And she's like, yeah, he's just like, she's like, he's just everywhere in your house, and like, he just wants you to know that like, he's present and that he's there. And yeah, and was my experience, other than like,
I mean, does she like talk during the time that you're like on the table, or like?
No, that's just her to like get her messages or like whatever. But I don't know, it's still like,
she meditates, so she meditates, and then she like, after she's meditated and she's open, then she starts doing like the, I don't know, the sage, and like
it's kind of like a cleansing of you, but she's also reading you as well, and like reading whatever comes through, whatever messages that are there for you from like Dad obviously was there, but like from your ancestors, like whatever your spirit guides have to tell her, then like,
That's awesome. That's really, really awesome.
Yeah, so for me, I feel like I was actually just like piggybacking off of her reading. I think I started stretching on Saturday, and I was just feeling really light, and I was like, oh my goodness, like, I have like a lot of like tension relief, like, for the first time, because I've been working on like relieving my shoulders and stuff for a really long time, and for whatever the reason, like, the stretches that I was doing and stuff like weren't working before, wasn't being consistent enough. But Saturday was the first day that I was just like, oh my god, like, I feel so much better, like, I can actually like take deep breaths without like feeling like so much weight. Like, it was weird. And the next day, on Sunday, I did my routine. I actually shared it with Mom, and then yeah, so I just was feeling really different, and like, me and Mom were having like a conversation about Dad, and just kind of like how I always kind of like put him in a box, I guess, and was like he was my dad, but I never really thought about who he was as a man. And like, I think it clicked to me that we had a lot of similarities, actually, just the way that he was very optimistic and happy. And like, it only clicked because like, I started getting like weird, like, random memories of like there's this one where I remember him like walking, and I could hear him, and he was just like whistling, and he was like walking down the stairs, and like, I couldn't see him, but like, I knew like the exact moment of my life when that had happened, and like he was just always happy and like always carried himself like tall, and like I just like really feel like I embody that, and it never clicked until the other day that, and like just like him being so driven to always like do more and learn more, and like I feel that like him opening his like auto body and stuff, like I didn't even think about how like that's similar to me and opening or doing my training stuff, and like because I was like I don't know anyone who's opened a business, and then I realized, or mom had brought it up that like, oh, like your dad, you know, his auto body, and like how he was doing it despite all of the circumstances. And so it just made me really like reflective. Plus I'm stretching. Like I downloaded these like affirmation things on my my Apple Music. So I started listening to those along with stretching. And on Sunday, Jay had her reading, but I didn't really like think of it as like dad would pop up. I was just like, oh, like this is just for herself. I was curious what happened, but like literally like the last thing on my mind was that dad would pop up in her reading. And like that Sunday, me and mom talked, and I randomly started crying, and like I knew like I was getting some type of like relief, because like I usually never cry. Like it was the cry where like you just like really like couldn't hold it in, or like my eyes just welled, and like tears were just, and it was just like weird, because like I never feel like I can be emotional, and it's like to the point where it's frustrating, because I want to be able to release it because I know it's healthy, but like I can't. And so we talked, she left, I had book club right after, or we had book club right after. One of my friends, she made a video because she does YouTube, and I was about to like not watch it, but I ended up clicking it, and I ended up just watching it. And it was like so basically the message was for, and it was like super impromptu, like she's saying like on the YouTube, like she always has her YouTube like edited and stuff. This was like super, like she was in her car on her phone, and like she's like, I don't ever do this, but she's like, whoever, I was sent this message and I was supposed to say it as is, and whoever needed it was supposed to hear it right now, pretty much. And it was like titled for creators and entrepreneurs of, because she's very like spiritual and religious, for the kingdom or something like that. And so she's speaking about creating for God and how like we shouldn't ignore it. And as entrepreneurs, like since we have moral values and our gifts are not used for bad, that we need to continue to create for God to spread his message, that like it's not bad to receive when you have good intentions. Like just talking about how like businesses, you know, that are corrupt or whatever, like they have like their intentions aren't pure, so that's bad. But if you're doing this solely to spread and it becomes your career, like keep on creating, keep on pushing for that, because like right now, like you're needed. And I feel like it really just hit me with everything, because I feel like I relate with my like confusion and like just being in my business and just not really knowing where to go from here, and the doubt, and just her message was so powerful. So then I went downstairs and I was just feeling so like confused again. And so I've never sat like this on the couch before. Like I'm on the long couch. I don't even ever sit on the couch. I always sit on the stool. But I just felt like my breathing was like labored. And I'm like on the couch like this, taking deep breaths. And I think mom just thought I was losing it. Like I felt like I was just having like this weird like awakening. Like I just felt like I needed to like breathe, and like that was the only way that I could like let it out and like talk. And so we're talking, and I was just like, I just feel like I'm selling myself short. Like I always sell myself short, and like And then, so I was talking to her, whatever, and then Jay comes in, and she had just had her reading. So, like, I was feeling all these weird emotions while she was having her reading. So I definitely feel like those emotions were, like, transferring into me, because when she did my reading, she was like, you guys are very in tune with each other. She was like, even though I was reading her, your spirit was so prevalent in her reading, which is crazy because I felt so different meanwhile she was getting her reading, but I didn't realize, like, meanwhile she was getting read, like, I was getting read pretty much. Isn't that crazy? And so she's like Jay was like, well, like, Dad, he came, and I was just like I said, like, that was the last thing I expected. And then she was like, he kept talking about someone who played sports and playing basketball, and so she was like, he has a and she was like, oh, that's not me, but she said that he had a message for that person, that, like, that he always felt the connection playing basketball, and how, like, he knew how happy it made me, and that, like, he was proud of me, and he really wanted me to know that he was proud of me, and that, like, to, like, continue playing. And so, like, that message, like, obviously, again, made me cry. And she told Jay to, like, talk to Dad, and how he's, like, in the house and stuff. And so, like, I went to bed feeling like, okay, like, comforted, like, probably, like, I was actually able to sleep. Like, usually, like, as of recently, I've been really anxious before going to bed. So I fell asleep, and I had to wake up early, and then I ended up talking to Dad. Like, I have, like, this, like, picture frame-ish that's, like, it's almost like, it's like a cork board, and I just put a bunch of, like, pictures on it, and, like, I posted that the cork board, like, a part of it, and a part of it just has pictures of, like, our family. And
yeah, I saw.
And so, like, this morning, like, I lit a candle, I started, like, doing stretches, and then I was just, like, crying again. Like, I was just like, oh my goodness, like, but, like, this time, like, I just, like, genuinely, like, felt like a veil was lifted off of me, and, like, I was, like, I knew I was talking to him. Like, there wasn't, like, oh, maybe, or, like, you know, like, it was, like, I knew. And, like, I don't know, there was no question in my mind that I was having a conversation with him. Like, I was literally just having a conversation with him. And then the day went on, and, like, my reading was just, like, I was having, like visions of, I mean, I don't know, like, I felt like within the visions, first of all, I was, like, really, like, anxious at first. My eyes were fluttering, so then I'm like, okay, like, figure out how to breathe. So I finally called my breathing, probably, like, 5 minutes in. And then I started getting visions of, like, I felt like I had so many visions, but one of them that stood out to me was that, like I was, like, I see a bird in a cage, which that's, like, a prevalent thing that I feel, because of, like, that Ellen DeGeneres quote where she's, like, before she came out, she had this vision of a cage and a bird, and that, like, the bird was beautiful, and, like, the bird, like, didn't want to leave the cage, but the cage was open all along. But so I was like, yeah, like, I'm there, like, I can leave. And then I was like, but why can't I leave? Like, I thought that I already figured this out. And then my brain, because, like, I'm trying to, like, rationalize within my brain. It's almost like I'm in a mission. Like, I'm, like, trying to figure things out, dig deeper. And then I was like, I can't leave because Mom's in the cage. And so it was, like, this weird, like, realization that I wasn't in the cage like I wanted mom to leave the cage with me. So like the house was the cage, but like then I came to this realization that you guys all went into your own cages, and we are all like stuck in our own cages, but we're all like in our same like mental state of going through this loss, but we're in our own cages kind of thing. And like I've been wanting to travel again, and obviously like right now I can't, but like I'm like, I know in my heart I can't leave without everything feeling like everybody is better as a unit, because I feel like we're like, even if I feel better, like I can't move forward unless we're all on, like I want us to all be on the same page. And like I don't want to leave or like travel until I feel like we can, you know, all be healed. And I don't know, I just felt like it was like my mission to learn to heal myself and just try and help others. And I just had so many like visions, and it was like crazy, but I don't know. And like when I did the reading, she was like, oh, like you're an empath, so like as I was reading you, you were feeling where I was. Like she said that it was a very intense reading, and I knew it was. I felt it within me, but like, and like she healed my heart. So when she went over my heart, I could just feel it like going like, and that's like when I was like, breathe, breathe, breathe. And like I finally was able to just cry. Like I felt like I wanted to cry when it was Dad's funeral, but like I was so emotionally blocked. And so for like the first time in like 11 years, I feel like I can actually breathe. Like I didn't even realize I couldn't really breathe before. Like I always have had like issues like getting a full breath, or like, and I was just like, oh, like I guess it's like anxiety, but like I never knew how much I really, really, really just could not breathe until I cried. Aww.
That's like really awesome that you were able to have that experience.
I didn't think I would ever get that experience in my entire life. Like I just thought that I had to move forward. I didn't really think I was gonna get the closure that I needed. Like I always, you know, I wanted to believe, and then like, I mean, Dad's signs were not very subtle, but still I would question things or feelings, you know. I mean, he literally filled the street with yellow and black monarch butterflies, and I still was like, maybe it's a coincidence. What happened to him? Oh.
How long was the reading?
I laid on the table for about 45 minutes, and then we talked after. So I think I ended up getting, my session was at 11. I probably got home at like 1 something.
Wow. Well, I would really love to experience that.
No, yeah, like she has availability. It's like right now she's doing it at basically a donation base. So like $25 to $75 was her, and I was just like, I can't even monetize what you just gave me. Like you just gave me my life back. Like period. Like I would spend my savings to have that experience. Like
Amazing.
because I feel like I can just move forward instead of feeling so stuck in my head, like being able to have like plans of action and stuff. And she said that like basically like what I'm doing as far as like meditating, yoga, stretching, she's like, the biggest message I got was to continue doing that. Oh, and she also said that like Dad's spirit appeared, and he was like just so happy to see me that he was just like hugging and kissing me. And like there was like just like a point where like as I was going through my visualizations, it was like I saw like Christ in Dad, and like I just genuinely felt like that optimism and such was Christ within Dad. And like as I was doing that, I think his spirit, feeling that way, his spirit was there, and like she held my hand, but like I knew it was Dad's hand.
Alright, well now you have me crying, Sophie.
I feel like you should reach out to her and get a reading, because I don't know, like it'll change your life.
Yeah. No, I absolutely want to. Send me like the information. That would be amazing. I've always wanted to do something like that, and I initially have wanted to do something like in a group setting for all of us, because I feel like, you know, I definitely feel like all of us have like healing that we have to do in our own capacity. But no, it's awesome that you guys have been able to experience that.
Yeah. And like I didn't know if I needed therapy. Like I feel like I knew there was only so much I could do for myself. And so I was just like, okay, like what's the next step, because I can't do anymore. So is it therapy? Is it, and like I honestly in my heart I was like therapy is a good option, but I never feel like it's deeper than surface level.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like yeah, it helps, but it would never ever compare to this experience that I had today.
Awesome.
Like,
Well, I'm really happy for you. Yeah, that would be emotional draining, because it made me just emotional listening to it.
and when I got home, my teacher